Yes.
When you were employed by Kislak, was that pursuant to an oral or a written contract?
A written contract.
Do you have a copy of it? Do you have a copy here?
Yes.
Is that a photograph of your signature on page 3?
Yes, it is.
Was that contract ever amended?
Yes.
Do you have a written amendment to it?
No.
Were you ever given a written amendment?
No.
Are you saying by that it was amended orally?
Yes.
Now tell us when it was amended orally. Give us the date first.
I can't give you the specific dates.
Let us have the month and year.
I can't give you that either.
Can you give us the year?
I can't give you that either.
What is your best recollection as to the time when it occurred?
The amendment occurred as it related to commissions due me, which commission was increased after I produced for the company. If I recall exactly, it was $40,000 in commissions. The percentage was increased. That was done from 25%, I believe, to 30% or 35%, and then to 37.5%, and finally to 40%.
Are you saying that there was more than one amendment?
Yes.
Let us try, if you will, Mr. Wallach, to tell me who was present when this oral amendment was made, the first one.
I can't recall anybody else other than Joseph Siegel.
Where did that conversation you determined an amendment take place?
At Journal Square, at the offices then of J.I. Kislak.
At the Kislak office in Jersey City, is that correct?
Yes, 32 Journal Square.
From what you said before, is it fair to say that no one else was present except you and Mr. Siegel at the first amendment?
I don't think it could be fair to say that there was or there wasn't.
Don't you have any recollection?
I don't recall.
You don't recall one way or the other, is that correct?
Yes.
Very well. At the time that amendment took place, you said it was an amendment that resulted in an increase of commissions after you produced a $40,000 commission. Did you mean by that statement to give a reference in time that could be identified by locating that $40,000 commission or by identifying it with some deal or the name of some customer?
No.
What did you mean by that your commissions had increased up to a certain point over a period?
Right. Once I had reached a point in which I had brought in $40,000 in commissions to the company, my percentage would increase.
And is that $40,000 a cumulative total or when it was established in some...
A cumulative.
Let me finish my question here. He can only take one man at a time efficiently. Read my question, please. Very well, so that if one were to try to determine the time when you had this conversation with Mr. Siegel that you referred to in Journal Square in that office of Kislak, all one would need to do would be to find out when you first accumulated commissions of $40,000 with the Kislak company. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Did you tell us that when that occurred, Mr. Siegel and you had a conversation during which whatever was said meant to you that your contract was amended to increase your commissions from 25% to 30%?
30% or 35%, that's right.
You are not sure about 30% or 35%?
I am not sure.
Was there a second amendment?
Yes.
Tell us, if you can, when that occurred.
That occurred subsequent to the first rise.
I assume that. Can you identify it by month and year?
Not offhand.
Is there any record that you can consult which would help identify it?
Yes.
What is that record?
My business records.
What do you mean by that?
I have records of all of my past deals and commission statements that I could refer to.
In what form are those records?
Records given me by J.I. Kislak.
You mean a statement?
Yes.
You have their statements. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
When you say your business records, did you mean to say that you had some book or some file of your own that included something other than statements given to you by the Kislak company?
No, I am referring to those statements given to me by the Kislak company.
Tell us who was present when the second increase was arrived at.
My answer is still the same as the first.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Also at the Journal Square office of the Kislak company?
Yes.
And no one else was present to your recollection?
To my recollection,
Was there a third amendment?
there could very well have been a third amendment because I don't recall whether the first one was from 25% to 30% or 25% to 35% and then to 37.5% and then to 40%.
Is it fair to say then, Mr. Wallach, that you believe that your commission rate was increased from 25% to 40%, but you don't know whether it occurred in one or two stages or more than two stages? Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Whenever these amendments occurred, did you make any memorandum of the change?
No.
I take it from your answer so far that D1, which is this contract, was the agreement by which you first became employed by Kislak, and with these changes made in the commission rates, as you have already described?
Yes.
Were there any other amendments of this exhibit, this agreement, marked Exhibit D1?
No.
Will you tell us the circumstances under which you and the Kislak company parted company in November 1970?
When I left Kislak on November 20, 1970, I took employment on November 23, 1970 with Supermarkets General Corporation.
Will you tell us the office to which you reported to work?
301 Blair Road, Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Is that the main office of Supermarkets General?
It is.
Tell us what the main office is.
It's with George McPhillips,
What was his title?
Vice President.
Vice President?
Yes.
Continue. You were going to explain the circumstances under which you and the Kislak company terminated your relationship.
I decided to resign from the J.I. Kislak company and take a position with Supermarkets General Corporation.
Did you resign by writing?
Yes, there was a writing.
Do you have a copy?
Yes, I do, but not with me.
To whom did you give that writing?
I gave it to no one.